Well, that's Twain's report sent back to the Sol Cooperative HQ. It might be a while before he's able to reply, especially given the gravity of all that we've discovered so far, including the news of his daughter's passing. In the meantime, let's see what this General Maddox fellow has to say for himself. Can you put the General's message on the big screen in front of me, please, Ben?
Affirmative.
Greetings, Commander. My name is General Maddox. I am the commanding officer of the Colonial Defense Forces needed to Aerodynamic, and as of this moment, the acting governor of Terra Nova. We received the message you sent earlier, and I have since been in contact with both the TCA Marshal Edward Gordon and your employer in the Sol Cooperative, Jonathan Twain, so I am well aware of who you are, and we appreciate all that you've done. But we are still a very long way from making this system safe again. As you are no doubt aware, a large and well-organized gang of pirates are present in this system, and right now we have neither the vessels nor manpower available to combat them. Unless we're able to secure Terra Nova within the next few days, we risk losing the entire planet to those very same pirates. And once they've dug in, it'll be damn near impossible for us to take it back by force, unless we either ask Mars or one of those blasted corporations for assistance, and I'll be damned if I'll let that happen. Let me be blunt, Commander. It has very much come to our attention that you have a rather impressive combat-capable vessel at your disposal, one which could be of valuable service to us. I would therefore like to make you an offer. Due to a legal loophole, since the Terran Colonial Authority, and by extension the CDF, were never signatories of the 1856 Declaration of Paris, which outlawed privateering, it turns out that, as acting governor, I have the authority to offer you what is in essence a modern-day equivalent of a letter of marque and reprisal, making you a private contractor in the service of the CDF. This commission would of course come with the rank of captain, along with the associated privileges, and it would also mean that you will, for the time being, be given a reprieve from the charges made against you. If you decide to refuse, however, we will consider you an illegal combatant, and Marshal Gordon will be informed that you are no longer under our protection. This means he will once again be free to arrest you and confiscate your vessel, which I'm assuming is something neither of us wants. Commander, I don't know you personally, but what I've seen and heard suggests that you are a good man, and I trust you'll make the right choice. Please let me know your decision as soon as possible. You have 60 minutes from receipt of this message to think it over. Maddox out.
Okay, now that I was not expecting. So, the CDF want to hire me as a mercenary or privateer? I guess they really must be desperate, and since they've not exactly left me much choice, I suppose I'd better accept. This is Commander Robertson of the Valiant to General Maddox. I have received your offer and I do hereby accept the commission of Captain in the CDF. Please send the required legal documentation as soon as you can so that I may formalise our agreement. Robertson out. Marshal Gordon, this is Robertson. Would you do me the honour of joining me up here for a second? I have some news for you.
Roger that. I'll be with you shortly.
Sure, how can I help you, Robertson?
Good news, Marshal. It turns out that General Maddox has offered me a commission in the CDF, and I, not wanting to be rude, have accepted.
You do realise that doesn't change the fact you are still a bloody fugitive?
Nope, but it does mean that for the moment you can't arrest me, which means I can now trust you with the Valiant, to a certain degree. So please, if you would be so kind, have a seat in the co-pilot's chair.
So you want me to shit? Oh, I'll take a seat, alright. Not as if I've got anything else to bloody do.
Okay, now I've no idea how long it's going to take before General Maddox gets back to me, but I've got a feeling we're about to get dragged into a fight. And I've already bumped into those pirates he mentioned back when I was down at the old CDF base, and I remember that they were pretty well equipped. Marshal, I'm just going down to the hangar to work on my AS-10C Warhawk, so I'm leaving the CIC in your more than capable hands while I'm gone. Give me a shout if you need anything, and please, be nice to Benson.
You mean the TCA Warhawk? Aye, very well. Just keep your bloody hands off mine.
As if I'd do something like that. I'll catch you later, Marshal. One of the first things I'm going to do is repaint the Warhawk I've got. It just seems wrong flying around in something that is pretty much painted up as a police vehicle. I might even upgrade it to the AS-10D variant as it's slightly more capable. Ah, I just realised. Madison and Gordon's Warhawks are painted slightly differently. That's interesting. Maybe it's a bit like police vehicles from different states or cities back on Earth in the old days. Anyway, I'll start by grinding this down and replace it probably with a rocket launcher of some kind. Maybe even a reloadable rocket launcher if I can grind all the way through this. In the meantime, however, I think I'm going to make a start repainting it. I'll do the finer details later on. Almost done. Just a few more components and I can get this reloadable rocket launcher completed. There we are. All I need to do now is get rid of these extra components and add the rocket. Looking good. And it's not just a repaint. I've modified the thruster modules to make it more compact. It comes with a slight reduction in power efficiency, but nothing too severe. Overall thrust is still pretty much the same. In fact, this is as close to the D model version of the Warhawk as I can get given the components I've got on board the Valiant.
Caution, Commander. I have just detected 3 hostile vessels on the short-range sensors.
Copy that, Ben. I'm on my way to the CIC now. What's their position in relation to the Valiant?
Commander, all 3 vessels appear to be in low Terra Nova orbit and are approximately 50 kilometers away and closing. Bearing 0, 1, 1 1, 3.
Acknowledged. I see them. It looks like we've got company, Marshal. I'm guessing those are your pirate friends.
Well, I'm guessing you are right, but I wouldn't call them French.
Right, I'm bringing the Valiant around. Let's take a closer look at these bastards. According to the sensors, they're all frigate-sized and are still in the atmosphere, which means we can't jump to them and they're outside our weapons engagement envelope. Oh, very clever. I'm not sure why they're just sitting there unless they're here to talk. Benson, can you use the telescope and the laser antenna to zoom in a little more for me, please?
Yes, Commander.
Yeah, they're all hybrid designs made for atmosphere and space. Ben, zoom in on that large red one, please.
Acknowledged.
Ah, yeah, definitely. I'm seeing 3 different thruster types in that one called the Golden Eagle, and it's particularly well armed for its size. The perfect pirate vessel. I can't shake the feeling that that vessel looks familiar.
Commander, we are being hailed by the Golden Eagle.
Speak of the devil. Okay, Benson, put them on screen.
Well, if it isn't the esteemed captain of the Valiant.
You've gotta be kidding me.
Quite a thorn in my side, now that you've destroyed my priceless alien artifacts and buried what's left under an entire mountain. You even had the gall to attack my men. But where are my manners? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Varus. I'm the captain of the Golden Eagle and the leader of the Red Brotherhood. These are my men, and we control all of this system, and even the world you see below you. So tell me, Captain, who are you, and why are you here? I heard your alien transmission, and your voice sounds familiar somehow. An old rival from Kuiper, perhaps. I do like to know who I'm dealing with.
Oh, I'll tell you exactly who you're dealing with, Varus, you rogue. And that's someone who'll kick you up the arse and drag you away in chains if you have the guts to get any closer.
Look, lads, I was right. Gordon's alive. When they told me a small thermal signature was detected heading away from the battle, I knew it was you. The lads thought it was just wreckage or a stray missile. No, said I, that'll be the Marshal running away like a dog with his tail tucked between his legs. That's why I sent the bloody constraint. Well, now this is splendid, as it means I get the chance to kill you all over again. But tell me, Gordon, that vessel you've got there, the one that looks a lot like the old Ross 4 flagship, that's not standard issue for the TCA, and it certainly doesn't look like it belongs to the Colonials. So who is your new friend, then?
This is Commander Robertson here. Well, Varys, it looks like we meet again. Only this time you'll find that I'm in command of something a little more formidable than a makeshift asteroid base.
You are a shit. An absolute shit of a human being, Robertson. You are scum, and the worst kind of scum. What sort of coward hides back and throws a piece of their own station at someone? A shit, that's who. A man that lacks any courage or decency.
Decency? Well, that's rich coming from a pirate like you. Tell me, Varys, how many innocent men and women have you murdered in cold blood?
Shut it, Marshal. This is between Robertson and I. You hear me, Robertson? When I get my hands on you, I will torture you slowly, and then I will kill you.
Yeah, you'll grind my bones to make your bread, then drink from my skull. I've heard it all before, but speaking of killing, how the hell did you survive our last encounter? I saw that debris smash straight into your ship, taking out the cockpit and sending everyone flying off into space.
Yes, well, you see, Robertson, if you were paying attention, like you, I too was wearing a spacesuit, unlike my poor unfortunate crew, so when you so brutally struck my beautiful Argentavis, I barely had time to close my visor and brace myself. I was not unconscious from the impact, but was otherwise unharmed. When I eventually came to, I was over 5 kilometers away and barely had time to gather myself when I realized that you'd stolen my wonderful ship and taken it back to that shitty base of yours. You see, Robertson, your first mistake was not making sure I was dead. Your second was not destroying all of my wonderful drones. I contract them, you see, and used their spare parts to make a small shelter for myself near the asteroid where we first shot at you when you were mining. That's right, I was watching you the whole time. Even when you repainted my lovely Argentavis in that ghastly blue and grey. Imagine my surprise when you jumped away, never to return. That's when you made your third mistake, you dumb shit. By turning your base's power off, you made it all too easy for me to break in and use it for myself.
Damn it, I only did that because I knew I was going away for a while and thought I'd still have the Pristinium when I got back. Captain Varys, this is all very interesting, but how the hell did you end up out here? Surely this can't be a coincidence.
Far from it, Robertson. You see, I wasn't the only one that heard your distress signal. It turns out that a Ross 4 survey vessel received it too.
The Pathfinder.
Yes, that's the one. It turns out that the former captain was a little too trusting, so I used one of my lovely drones to persuade him to relinquish command. That's when I found his logs that mentioned they were looking for an alien artifact, a monolith to be precise, that was similar to one they had already had in their possession here in 82 Aerodynamic. Well, not being one to miss out on an opportunity like that, I turned the Pathfinder into the Golden Eagle you see before you, then came back here to relieve them of said monolith and sell it to the highest bidder. But when I arrived, I was disappointed to discover the blasted thing had gone missing, or so they claimed. I never did trust those corporate types. All they do is lie. But then an offer was made to me by the owner of the Aerodynamic Trade and Mining Corporation. He says they found more alien artifacts hidden in a chamber under a mountain, and for a small fee, if I attacked the dig site on the mountain, the CDF forces will fall back, and his own men move in, and we share the booty between ourselves. Not that I planned on sharing, of course, but I wasn't going to tell him that. And all it cost me was a few drones. But no sooner had we done this than all of a sudden we're told people are dying. There's a deadly disease on the world, and we can't go down there. Bollocks, I said. I sent down a handful of men, and within a few hours, nothing. Nothing at all. So I figures there's something to this disease, but not wanting to give up on the priceless treasure that lies down there, I bides my time. That is, until you appear and bugger everything up, you interfering bastard.
Hey, now you listen to me, you crazy son of a bitch. If I hadn't put a stop to that alien device, that world would still be dangerous. Varys, this wasn't just any ordinary disease we're talking about here. It was an alien nanovirus. The damn thing was turning people into undead husks, and there were even robot sentinels defending that place.
You really expect me to believe that? You must think me a fool, Robertson. My men and I will find those alien artifacts, even if it means digging up that bloody mountain with our bare hands. Alternatively, we could just take what we need from you.
What do you mean?
I seem to recall that you mentioned that you downloaded the data from the alien device whilst you gave your strange transmission, yes? I'd say that one of the corporations would likely pay a rather handsome price for such valuable information.
Yeah, just try it, Varys. I'm only seeing 3 of your ships so far, and from what I can tell, they're no match for the Valiant. And you guys will be in even more trouble once the CDF reinforcements from Hades get here.
Oh, you haven't told him, have you, Marshal? I'm sorry to have to be the one to tell you this, Commander, but there's no reinforcements coming. You see, the CDF have lost almost all their ships fighting against the Red Brotherhood. I'd say they only have 1 or 2 left now, and I doubt very much they'll be leaving the safety of the planet they call Hades. No, Robertson, it's just you and the Marshal, I'm afraid. And the longer you stay here, the more of my friends will arrive. Soon you'll find yourself outnumbered. Just like a pack of wolves take down a mighty bear, so too shall we make short work of your little battleship. My advice to you now, Commander, is to run. Just run away like the coward you are, because the only thing waiting for you here now is a grisly death at the hands of the Red Brotherhood. As for you, Marshal, if I were you, I'd go back to your little hole on Hades and stay put. We'll be in touch shortly. If the Colonials want Terra Nova back, then I'm sure we can agree on a reasonable price. That's after we're finished looting it for all it's worth, of course. Or maybe we'll make the same offer to one of the megacorporations.
Varys, you bastard. You'll never get away with this. Mark my words.
You know, Marshal, I think you might be getting a little senile in your old age because you really are starting to repeat yourself.
Enough of this. Varys, you are nothing more than a low-life criminal with delusions of grandeur. You're not special. Vile cretins like you come crawling out of the filth anywhere where there's wars or lawlessness. You know what? I really do hope you attack us. Because even if you do manage to destroy this vessel, I can guarantee I'll be taking most of you bastards with me. And trust me, Varys, I'll be gunning for you first.
Yes, that's the spirit, Commander. Well, as much as I'd love to sit here and chat, the lads and I have work to do. I wouldn't hang around too long if I were you. The next time we meet, I'll let our missiles do the talking. Farewell, Marshal, Commander.
Bring it on. Robertson out. Of all the vile cretins of the universe, why did it have to be him?
Sounds like the 2 of you have something of a history.
Not exactly. I barely know the twat. It's a long story. Let's just say that once upon a time he tried to attack a base of mine, unsuccessfully. Well, they're still out there. They've just turned their beacons off. I'm detecting them slowly heading back towards Terra Nova. It looks like they're trying to re-enter the atmosphere on the far side away from us. Probably to hide among the ground clutter. At least they're not entirely stupid. If they tried to land near the ruined alien structure or Avalon colony whilst we're still up here above them, we'd rain death from above down on them, quite literally. What does have me worried is this talk of bringing in or creating extra ships to fight us. 3 we could probably take with only little to moderate damage, but any more than that and we'd be struggling to come out of it alive.
Yes, when he attacked our task force he had 5 vessels, but who knows how many he's got now.
Yeah, I disabled one on the surface earlier, but it probably won't take long for them to repair it again. What's worse, Marshal, is that the bloody constraint came down right on top of the old CDF base, so it's not as if they're going to be short of any spare parts with which to rebuild the damn thing.
Aye, but at least you gave them a bloody nose. The next time we see them, they'll not be on top form.
I suppose that is true. I admire your optimism, Marshal.
Why, thank you.
Commander, you have just received a hyperpulse message from General Stephen Maddox of the Colonial Defense Forces.
Excellent. This will be his reply. I was beginning to wonder when the esteemed General was going to get back to me. Put it through in the cockpit's main screen for me, Ben.
As you wish, Commander.
Outstanding. Welcome to the CDF, Captain. I knew you'd make the right decision. The situation is grim, Captain. Our enemy are a gang of well-organized space pirates that refer to themselves as the Red Brotherhood.
Yeah, we met.
They have at least 6 combat-capable vessels that we are aware of, and many of their crew have experience fighting in the rebellion against the Ross War Corporation. As it stands, we only have 4 vessels at our disposal, only 3 of which are combat-capable. To make matters worse, we only have 1 other aerospace-qualified captain, and she's in command of our only remaining frigate that's tied up patrolling the orbit above Hades. What we do have is a large CDF defense installation on Hades itself, defended by multiple surface-to-orbit missile batteries. They don't have much range, but they're more than sufficient to destroy anything that tries to come into orbit. Even though we're critically under strength, we've not been idle, Captain. We have been working around the clock towards the construction of an orbital defense station in low orbit above Hades. The station is now almost fully operational and will soon be ready to be brought online.
Nice one.
It is our intention to transport this defense station into orbit above Terra Nova. Once there, it will serve as our forward base of operations as we move to secure the planet below. We can use it to construct new spacecraft as well as repair those already damaged in battle. And best of all, its railgun batteries and long-range torch missiles will ensure the swift destruction of any hostiles on the planet's surface below, as well as neutralizing any pirate vessels that try to make orbit above.
Good.
What we need, however, is a vessel large and powerful enough to tow this defense station all the way from Hades to Terra Nova. None of the vessels we have available, including your own, would be powerful enough to haul the station. This operation will require either a Mitchell or Maxwell-class tug, and this, Captain, is where you come in. Please find your orders enclosed in this message. Good luck. Maddox out.
Okay, let's take a look at these orders then. Right, what does it say? Captain, in order to transport the orbital defense station from Hades to Terra Nova orbit, we require a large tug-class vessel. The CDF under General Tyler had previously contracted the United Colonies Corporation to hire the services of a Maxwell C-class heavy tug designated the UCSS Montero, with which to transport the various modules of the CDF outpost, Fort Viridian, to its current location near the mountain above the alien structure. Shortly after completion of said contract, the UCSS Montero landed at Avalon Spaceport to resupply and refuel. Our records show that it was still there when the outbreak started, and while the captain tried to take off and reach orbit, a mutiny led by the executive officer prevented this, and the crew forced the Montero to crash land in the desert approximately 25 kilometers north of Avalon Colony. Coordinates attached. Sounds like the captain wanted to escape the planet, but the XO feared that they would spread the virus by doing so, and thus led a mutiny. The sad thing is that in this instance the captain would have been right. As soon as they got into orbit, the nanites would have shut down and the crew would have started to get better again. Poor sods. Your primary objective is to locate the UCSS Montero with the intention of recovering it on behalf of the CDF. If it is determined that the vessel is no longer serviceable, i.e. unable to make orbit or use its jump drives, then you are hereby authorized to scuttle it in order to prevent the vessel from falling into enemy hands. Okay, fair enough. If the UCSS Montero can be recovered and brought into Terra Nova orbit, you are ordered to use its jump drives to rendezvous as soon as possible with the orbital defense installation located in orbit above Hades. Once there, you are to await further instructions. Please find all required coordinates attached to this file. Good luck, Captain. Oh, well thanks guys. When you put it that way, I suppose it makes it sound easy. Right, let's do this. Benson, please recognise my new rank and title, and while you're at it, please add Marshal Edward Gordon here as an authorised co-pilot of the Valiant.
Acknowledged, and congratulations, Captain.
Thanks, Ben. Marshal, you heard my briefing there. I don't suppose you're qualified to fly a Maxwell Sea heavy tug?
Yes, but I'm not bloody going down there.
Relax, Marshal. I'll be the one going dirtside. But it wouldn't be right for me to leave you here in the Valiant alone whilst I jump to Hades. And if both ships leave, then Varus could just move in and ambush us on our return. Would it be possible for you to take the Montero to Hades for me once I get back with it? Or should I say, if I get back with it?
Well, I suppose so, but I've not flown anything as big as that in over 20 years.
Ha! It's no sweat, Marshal. It's just like riding a bike.
Aye, a 16,000-ton bike.
Ah, don't worry. I'm sure you'll get the hang of it again. Anyway, I'd better move fast. We've no idea how long we've got before Varus rounds up more ships to attack us.
Well, I wish you luck, Captain, and stay safe down there.
Thanks, Marshal. You too. What I am worried about right now is that when I get down there, all I find is a useless wreck that's only fit for scrap. And if that's the case, then we may end up having to concede Terra Nova to Varus and his Red Brotherhood. And that really would be a bitter pill to swallow. Okay, let's get this Warhawk powered up and launched as soon as possible. Benson, what's the picture up there? Have you detected any hostile vessels out there that could pose a threat to us?
Negative, Captain. I am not detecting any hostile vessels on either the long-range or short-range sensors, but be advised, there are at least 3 thermal signatures in the asteroid belt and outer system that could potentially be hostile vessels within active transponders.
Thanks, Ben. At least there isn't anything in our immediate vicinity that could ruin our day, and if anything jumped within range, we'd know about it soon enough. Likewise, if anything took off from the other side of the planet, we'd see it coming long before it got within range. I suppose I could have gotten the Marshal to open and close those hangar bay doors, but given how new he is to all this, I'd rather get this done sooner rather than later. Not that I'm implying that he's slow, of course, just unfamiliar. That's right, an unfamiliar guy that looks and sounds as if he's about 100 years old. Out of curiosity, Ben, what's your analysis of the nanite technology we got from the alien structure on Terra Nova? Is there anything we could potentially use from it?
Unknown, Captain. Given our current level of technology, there is a 98.4% probability that it is too advanced and complex to be safely reverse-engineered. I have also detected several instabilities in the AI subroutines used in the control of the nanites, which would make them potentially dangerous if we try to use them in our current processors.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. We've got the low-tech nanites that we ourselves use in building blocks to be welded up, but nothing compared to what we saw down there. And the last thing we want is for it to end up in the wrong hands, and for our own civilization to be devoured by the grey goo, all due to our own hubris. Yeah, it's best that we stick to the terraforming technology. At least there's fewer ways that could be weaponized. Or at least I'd hope so. Alright, we've entered the atmosphere and are approaching the Montero crash site now. I can make it out just ahead of us, and so far we've not run into any difficulties. So here's hoping our luck holds out. It's still too far away at the moment, barely a speck in the distance, so I can't really gauge the damage it's taken yet. Hopefully that's something I'll be able to observe once we get a little closer to it. None of Varus's pirates have made an appearance thus far, which is good, but saying that, if any of their vessels did approach, either Benson or the Marshal and the Valiant would have given me the heads up long before now. At the moment, I'm just focusing on making sure that I approach this at the right angle. Yeah, this VTOL is still a little unfamiliar to me, and I can't get over how powerful its thrusters are. Okay, let's get rid of this waypoint now. I don't really need it anymore as I've got a good visual on the Montero itself. Oh, hang on a second, what the heck is that? I'm seeing what appears to be vehicles to the left of the Montero. Hang on, I'll zoom in. It looks like there's people down there. Are they hostile? They are. Returning fire. Son of a bitch. Are those pirates? If they are, then how the hell did they get here? Well, that's alright, they won't be here for long. Eat this, you bastards. Small arms fire versus a heavily armed gunship? Yeah, you're not gonna win. Time to finish you guys off. Just making sure I take out those buggies, in case there's anybody else still inside them. At least I'm guessing those guys were pirates, as I doubt any survivors or scavengers would have tried open fire on me first, unless they were incredibly stupid, of course. Well, the good news is that it seems that all of the Montero's aft thrusters are intact. And I'm not seeing any significant damage to the rest of the hull, which looks very promising indeed, but I'll need to check underneath the vessel as well. If there aren't enough working thrusters underneath the Montero, then it's just not going to be able to lift off. What I'll do is land the Warhawk down next to those two buggies and take a closer look. I'll also need to do some emergency repairs. Those two monitors in front of me appear to have taken some damage. I'm not seeing any more pirates wandering around out here, but I'll need to check underneath the Montero and possibly inside it too, just to make sure. There we are. Okay, let's take a look outside. That's not too bad. It looks like only those displays took any real damage. Everything else is just superficial. Should be easy enough to fix. I'm not seeing anyone else around, and given that those buggies appear to be single-seat vehicles means there's a good chance that those two goons I killed were the only ones here, but I need to be careful just in case I'm wrong and there's more of them out there. The red spacesuits they wore, along with the red and black paint scheme used on those buggies, does strongly suggest that they were Red Brotherhood pirates. But where the hell did they come from? Varus and his men landed too far away, and there's no way any of them could have gotten here in time, especially on those things. Which means that these guys may have been some of the crew of the bloody Constraint. When I think about it, it wouldn't have taken them long to fabricate those buggies and drive over here from the old CDF base. Which begs the other question, how in the hell did they know about the Montero? Did they find some reference to it in the old CDF base that I just somehow missed? Or did they spot it from orbit and chose to investigate? Well, whatever the case, they were here, and unless they were very sloppy, they've told their buddies that I am too, which means that there's a very strong possibility that others could be on their way. Which means I need to finish these emergency repairs on the Warhawk ASAP and check out the Montero. Right, hopefully that should be all the components I need. Okay, those repairs should be enough, in case I suddenly need to take off or defend myself. I'll just dump these leftover components here. Perfect. Right, let's go and take a look at the Montero. Make sure there's no one else lurking down there. Nope, looks all clear so far. All the thrusters near the back look intact. That's a very promising sign. Need to check the front though. Most of the underside looks good too. There's a couple missing. It might still take off though. And it looks like the pirates have built this really bad metal ramp up to the crew elevator. The power's still off, so it looks like they couldn't access the control panel, but that's okay. I'm a captain in the CDF. I can. There we are. At least emergency power still works. Anyway, going up. And hopefully there isn't anybody else hiding up there. All clear. Excellent. Now I need to find the jump drives, hydrogen tanks and nuclear reactors, just to make sure that the Montero can still be of use to us. I'm guessing those will be near the back of the vessel, so I'll head that way first. Now this will be the hangar bay. Oh hello, it looks like there's already a shuttle or something docked inside. I'll take a closer look at that in a moment. Ah, perfect. The central engine bay. Right, let's take a look at these hydrogen tanks and make sure they're all right. Yep, everything looks okay from what I can see. And the screen here says we've still got over 79% of our hydrogen left. That should be enough to get us into orbit. Okay, time to check on the jump drives. Oh yeah, these are all fine. And there's a lot of them too. Yeah, this thing will have no problem jumping huge distances, even with an orbital defense station in tow. Reactors 3 and 4 look okay. I'll just quickly check the other ones. And reactors 1 and 2 are looking good as well. Excellent. I'll check how much uranium those reactors have once I get to the cockpit, as this battery power won't last forever. That, and I need those reactors to charge the jump drives, otherwise after I get into orbit, this thing won't be going anywhere. Well now that's interesting, Ben. That craft over there looks like a larger version of my Warhawk.
Yes, Captain. That appears to be an Olympus 207, the civilian variant of the MS-10 Griffin, which belongs to the same family of spacecraft as your Ace-10 Warhawk.
Yeah, I thought so, except this looks like a variant that's been designed to shuttle passengers from one place to another. Impressive, and it's more compact than the Wyvern. That would make it ideal for smaller hangar bays. Anyway, I'd better get moving and try and make my way up to the cockpit or bridge of this vessel and see what shape it's in. From everything I've seen so far, it looks like the damage has been minimal, which is better than I'd hoped, and it means that there's an excellent chance that the Montero can be saved. And best of all, it doesn't look like there's any more pirates lurking around, which is very good indeed, because those buggers could potentially sabotage this ship before I have a chance to claim it. Ah, these windows have blast shutters on them. That's a good idea. There's the reactor status display. Now let's see if I can power everything up from here. Brilliant! All the reactors are looking healthy, everything's stable, and it doesn't look like there's any issues. Well, at least nothing has exploded yet, which is good. Nope, I want to go this way. Welcome aboard the UCSS Montero. Thank you. Right, I'm assuming the bridge is this way. Ah, a medical lab. Might as well take a look inside and see what I can find. Cryo chambers. And another window that looks out onto the right-hand side of the ship. Cool. Well, while I'm here I may as well use the medical room to recharge my suit's power and hydrogen. Yeah, there's a lot of damaged blocks on this vessel. That's kind of what happens when something crash lands. I'm not even going to attempt to repair it all. Just enough to get this thing flying should do. That's not bad. All these screens are still working. I just need to check out the rest of the ship's systems though. Ben, give me a status report on the Montero, please.
Captain, 87% of this vessel's systems are operational, but there's significant damage and possible loss of several ion and hydrogen thrusters, 2 antenna, 2 Gatling guns, damage to the forward landing gear, and moderate hull damage, particularly to the front and underside sections of the Montero. Would you like to see a list of the damaged components?
Negative, Benson. That won't be necessary. I've already got a rough idea. Please continue.
Reactors 1 through 4 are running within acceptable levels. All batteries are above 75% charge capacity and all solar panels are working at optimum efficiency. Heat levels are all within acceptable ranges and the Montero's radiators are also operating at peak efficiency.
Excellent. Thanks, Ben. That'll do for the moment.
As you wish, Captain.
What I will need to do is replace these broken windows. I can scavenge some glass from the others, but most of this will need to be replaced with metal to make it airtight. I also need to quickly smooth over the damage outside to reduce friction. It doesn't need to survive re-entry, just enough to escape the atmosphere without burning up. I'll also move the Warhawk and lock it to the top of the Montero so I can take it with me. Now, if I remember correctly, there was a cargo container back here. Ah, there it is. Right, let's get some spare parts. Steel plates. Yep, there we are. Right, let's get to work. Now, I'll try to be as quick as I can. I'm painfully aware that every second counts and I've spent too long messing around already. There we go. I just need to weld it now. And if I'm doing this right, once it's complete, it should be airtight. And the best way of checking that is to look at the control panel on an air vent. Like the one up there, for example. Perfect. The room is showing as being pressurized.
Captain, we have an incoming transmission from the Valiant.
Acknowledged, Benson. Put it through.
Captain Robertson, this is Marshal Gordon. Do you read me? Over.
Copy that, Marshal. This is Robertson here. Over.
I hate to tell you this, Captain, but there's a vessel approaching your position from the south. It's just past Avalon Colony and is closing fast. Over.
Damn it. I was hoping we'd have a little more time. Acknowledged, Marshal. The Montero's flyable, so I'm preparing for emergency liftoff now, and if all goes well, I'll be with you shortly. Robertson, out. Okay, I guess it's the moment of truth. Will this damn thing be able to take off? Well, here goes nothing. Haha, yes! Easily! So which one are you then? The bloody constrained. Of course it is. They must have repaired it pretty damn quickly. The problem is they're trying to get between me and the Valiant.
Ooh, this is the bloody constraint in the Montero, yeah! You got 10 seconds to put her down and surrender, or I'll blow you out of the sky, you dig it?
Oh, I dig it, you freaking clown. You want to shoot me down, you have to catch me first. And something tells me when it comes to acceleration, I have the advantage.
Danger. Danger, Captain Robertson. The bloody constraint has just locked onto the Montero.
Acknowledged, Benson. Activating point defense turrets.
Danger. Missile launch detected.
Oh shit. Here we go. Damn, that was close. Oh crap, here comes another one. I just need a few more seconds to get out of range. Whoa, son of a bitch! I think the turrets took out that second one too. It doesn't feel like we've been hit, and I'm not seeing anything on those displays. Ben, did any of those missiles damage the Montero?
Negative, Captain. Both missiles were successfully intercepted before the Montero came within their warhead's effective blast radius.
Nice one. Just as well the turrets in this thing are still working, otherwise we'd be done for. Thankfully, it appears as though we're out of range of the bloody constraint. At least I'm guessing so, as it's not fired on us again. And we're gaining a lot of distance over it now. Unfortunately for them, being a hybrid craft, their ship can only get into orbit via a gentle climb, whilst this thing can brute force its way out of the gravity well. The only problem is that we've burned a lot of fuel by doing so. We're already down to 55%, and we've still got a long ways to go before we reach orbit. I did think about asking the Marshal to use one of the orbit-to-surface missiles to shoot down the pirate vessel, but he's not very familiar with the Valiant's weapon systems, and there's always a risk that the Montero would be hit instead. Besides, there's just too much ground clutter, and it looks like we've managed to get out of it in one piece anyway. I doubt very much that the captain of the bloody Constraint would be foolish enough to try and follow us all the way back up to the Valiant. Chances are he'll join up with the others now instead. I am a little concerned about the noises I'm hearing from the Montero's hull. I fixed it up as much as I could, but there was still a fair amount of damage to the front of the vessel, and that's where most of the heat from the air friction will be building up. I just hope it doesn't break apart before we reach orbit. Actually, it looks as though we might be okay. I'm noticing that the heat is dropping rapidly as we leave the atmosphere. Yep, it looks like we're going to be fine. We're down to just under 40% fuel though, which should be enough to get us into orbit, providing I don't overdo it. The ion thrusters can fully take over once we're out of the atmosphere. Just to confirm, Benson, apart from the bloody Constraint, have you detected any other hostile vessels within 100 kilometers of the Valiant or the Montero?
Negative, Captain.
Good. I've had enough bloody surprises for one day. No pun intended, of course. I'll ease off on the hydrogen now, just try to use it sparingly. So far so good. I have to say that these Maxwell class heavy tugs are absolute beasts. They're as big and heavy as all hell, but they've got more than enough thrust to get into orbit and back. I'd hate to see how much hydrogen these ships go through. It must take days to refuel them. Speaking of fuel, I'm almost down to 33% now. I won't be using the hydrogen thrusters anymore, so there should be plenty left for when the Marshal uses the Montero to tow the defence station. And I'm assuming that with so many jump drives he'll be able to return with the station attached in about 2 or 3 jumps. And if we're lucky, the CDF will also send us some drones to help with the defence. At least I'm assuming they'll have drones to spare. It would be foolish of them to hold most of them in reserve at Hades when the station arrives, especially considering all that's at stake. General Maddox also mentioned that they had a frigate. Now that really could help us if the pirates attacked. And knowing Varus, that could be sooner rather than later, especially once he gets wind that we're planning on towing that station above Hades over to Terra Nova. And trust me, once the captain of the bloody Constraint tells Varus about the Montero and how we swiped it from under their noses, it won't take him long to put 2 and 2 together. Anyway, that's us approaching low orbit now. I'll begin to change course so that we rendezvous with the Valiant. Once that's done, the Marshal can come across and take command of the Montero. Well, at least that's the plan. I have been gone for quite some time, and of course there's always the danger that old Grandpa Gordon over there has fallen asleep at the controls. Valiant, this is the Montero. Marshal, I'm less than 1 kilometer away and closing in on your position as we speak. Once I bring the Montero to a full stop relative to the Valiant, you'll be able to come across and take command. Be advised that the Montero has a hangar bay that can easily accommodate your TCA Warhawk should you wish to take it with you. Over.
Acknowledged, Captain. I may just do that. I'm on my way down to the Valiant's hangar bay now. Let me know when you're ready. Over.
Copy that. This is Robertson on the Montero. Out. Right, let's bring this beast to a full stop. I no longer have a visual of the Valiant, but that's okay. I kind of already know where it is. And as long as I don't get too close, it should be fine. One of the problems about this ship being so massive is that if you're not using the hydrogen thrusters, it takes forever to slow down. That will do. Marshal Gordon, this is Captain Robertson. The Montero is in position and I've opened the hangar bay doors. You're good to come across, over.
Acknowledged, Captain. I'm on my way over now. Gordon out.
That reminds me, I better not forget the Warhawk. I locked it onto the top of the Montero halfway through the repairs I did earlier. and I don't want the Marshal to jump away with it still attached. I might actually need it later on. This will actually be the first time I've used the Montero's airlock. Oh well, I guess it can't be that much different from the other ones I've used. Depressurize airlock. Yep, it's fairly self-explanatory. Ah, and there's the Marshal, slowly flying over in his Warhawk. Smile, Marshal, you're on camera! Hey, was that a salute, Marshal? If it was, then I think you may be missing a few fingers there.
Oh no, I think I gave you an appropriate salute there, sir.
Ha, I'll remember that next time we meet. Anyway, I'll let you get clear, then I'll head over in my own ship. Robertson out. That should be long enough. Right, let's get this thing started up and head back to the Valiant. Yeah, it does help when I'm the right way up. That's better. The funny thing is, even though the Valiant's quite big, it still looks small compared to the Montero. Now, I actually did spot the Montero from orbit when we first arrived, but even though that thing was huge, from up here it was still just a tiny speck and looked just like all the other random structures that are dotted around the planet's surface. I think we counted around 15 in total, with Avalon Colony and its spaceport being the largest. It would have taken days just to visit them all, so that just wouldn't have been practical. Besides, even if I did come across the Montero earlier, I would have probably just left it alone unless I specifically needed something from inside it. And there we are, we're back. Marshal Gordon, this is Robertson. How are you getting on over there? Over?
Oh, I'm doing just dandy, Captain. I've already docked and I'm on the way to the bridge. Well, that's if I can find it. This vessel's like a bloody maze.
Ha, and you told me you were familiar with the Maxwell tugs. Well, don't worry, Marshal. If you're lost, just look for the great big signs that say bridge on them, with arrows.
That's what I'm bloody looking for.
No worries, just let me know when you get there. In the meantime, I'll move the Valiant away from the Montero so that you can use the jump drive safely.
Aye, well you do that.
Have fun, Marshal. Robertson out. In the meantime, Ben, back when I was in the Volundar's Anvil, we used the Thalia 3D hologram technology to add a special visor that gave me an external view of the spacecraft. Now, I know they deleted your files on it before they sent you back to me, but we found similar technology in that alien structure on Terra Nova. Is there anything in what we managed to download that can be used in a similar way? A 3D external view would certainly help if we get into a fight.
Yes, Captain. Using the data we recovered and the components available, I can create a visor that is almost identical to the one used on the Volundar's Anvil. Be advised that it will take approximately 20 minutes to fabricate the visor and the accompanying external sensors in the ship's assembler.
That's fine. Proceed with manufacture, please, Benson.
As you wish, Captain.
That's excellent. That's going to make a huge difference next time we're in combat, and it won't take me long to stick all those sensors around the hull or attach the new visor. I say 15 minutes at most, maybe less.
Captain Robertson, this is Marshal Gordon. I found the bridge and I'm in the process of laying in the jump coordinates we were given for the installation above Hades. Over.
Yeah, he's a lot clearer using the ship's comms. Copy that, Marshal. I've moved the Valiant away so you're clear to jump whenever you're ready. Over. I'll just move the Valiant a little bit more. To get a proper look at the Montero, of course. I'd quite like to watch it as it jumps. Yeah, we're definitely at a safe distance now, so we should be okay.
Valiant, this is the Montero. I'm engaging the jump drive now. I'll see you later, Captain. Stay safe out there until we get back. Over.
Roger that, Marshal. Have a safe journey, and I'll see you soon. Valiant out. There it goes. It's about to jump. And it's away. Good luck out there, Marshal. Here's hoping you get back soon, and with some CDF reinforcements. Which reminds me. This is Captain Robertson to General Maddox. Mission accomplished. I've just sent Marshal Gordon with the UCSS Montero to the coordinates above Hades, and he should be with you momentarily. Furthermore, as a personal favour, I have data on the alien terraforming device attached to this message that I would very much like you to forward on to a Professor Ralph Hansen, whom I believe is with you on Hades at the moment. He will find it most beneficial to his research. Robertson out.
Captain, you have just received a hyperpulse message from a General Stephen Maddox of the Colonial Defense Forces.
Thanks, Ben. Put it through.
Good work, Captain. Marshal Gordon arrived with the Montero less than 10 minutes ago, and our engineers are prepping the station for towage as we speak. We need to work fast, Captain. The pirates ain't blind, and if they didn't know what we had planned before, you can be damn well sure they do now. Therefore, I need you to remain in orbit and await further instructions. Oh, and Captain, regarding your earlier request, we do indeed have a Professor Ralph Hansen on Hades. He and a few others were kept here under quarantine, then put into protective custody after fleeing Terra Nova. I shall forward your data on to him and see if he has anything useful that can be extracted from it. In the meantime, sit tight and stay sharp, Captain. Maddox out.
Cool. I was hoping the Professor was still there. From what I've seen in his logs, he's the one that's most likely to have everyone's best interests at heart and will make good use of that data, which is the main reason why I sent it to him. In the meantime, I've got work to do making sure that the Valiant is as combat ready as possible, because you can be damn sure that right now Varus is drawing up his plans of attack, and this time he'll be out for blood. But unlike the last time we met, I'll be ready for him.